Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I am getting over a summer cold, so if my voice is a little scratchy or quieter than usual, my apologies, but I do feel like I'm kind of at the end of it, hopefully. Starting to breathe easier, cough a little bit less, that sort of thing. I hate summer colds. So miserable. Anyway, I hope you are doing better than that. And if you've had a summer cold, I hope you get over it as well. This will be your weekly reading, Scorpio, for the hot week of August 16th through the 22nd. And during that time, we first have the waxing crescent moon, and that's a time of heightened senses when we're starting to execute those things that we've started or decided to start during the new moon, or planning and getting those things rolling. A good time for us to live up to our expectations and intentions. We then have our first interrupter of the cycle, and that's the first quarter moon. That comes in on the 20th. And that is a day or even just a couple of hours where you might feel impulsive, impatient. You're just kind of frustrated. It's hard to buckle down and get anything done. But two ways to handle that. It's kind of like that full moon. It's a time that you know is coming, and you can decide to learn to be in control of those impulses and just dominate all of those and get through it, or you can take it a little bit easier that day. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Scorpio. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that emotions are running high. All right, and already let me grab a drink real quick. Sorry, I grabbed a couple of ice cubes in there. I can feel my throat starting to get a little bit scratchy. It might be my incense there coming right at me. Anyway, usually as I'm shuffling the tarot, Scorpio, this would be the time when I have a little weekly reminder for you, different things that I think are important to do on your spiritual path. But this week I need your help with something, and that is that I'm thinking about doing the occasional live stream. And this might be in a couple of months when the weather is not as nice as summer and it's fall and maybe a little darker, colder, rainier out. But what I might do is try to do some live streams of just free tarot readings, 1 to 2 card, where you guys can ask questions and I'll do a little reading for you. So what I need from you is to let me know what day of the week or time or both would be best for you. And I'll take everybody's answers into consideration and try to start scheduling some of those up for you guys. So that seems like fun to me. Hopefully it sounds like fun to you and you will join us. So just let me know in the comments. All right, let's get into this reading. Scorpio, August 16th through the 22nd. Emotions are running high. Your present energy right now is the Two of Swords. So some sort of decision is being made right now, or you're in the process and kind of thinking things through. And it could be more than one decision, but maybe your emotions are a little high about it, about that decision. So just, trust that sometimes you don't have to make a decision right away. If it's something that does seem emotional, or, you can think things through. So just let yourself be calm, think things through, and try to maintain these calm waters that are behind this girl as she's making this decision here. Your current situation is the Ace of Wands. So, whatever it is, here's your emotions. It's the Ace of Wands that comes in, and it's very passionate. So whatever decision is being made, you're very passionate about your convictions to, or ideas about it, right? You have very, very strong feelings. So anytime that's going on, I always say, make sure you are listening. If there are other people involved, listen to their feelings as well. We all have things that we're very passionate about, and sometimes you just have to work those things out. If this is a relationship thing or a work thing, you have to kind of work everybody's wants and needs into decisions, so that when things happen, everybody's kind of happy. Even if maybe everybody also has to make a little concession on something, but everybody gets a piece of everything, something that they want. At the root of this situation is the Ace of Pentacles. So this could be just fighting about money, or a decision about money, or a decision about, maybe, if this is a home thing. Let me put this down here so you can see that. This could just be, if it's a relationship thing, maybe fighting about money, arguing about money, having decisions to be made about money where there's passions involved, and things that, maybe you have two different belief sets. This could be something at work that comes in that's about, how to budget for a project or something, and there's differing needs. It could be something about a pay situation at a job that you work at. So there's so many different areas that this might template over. But again, emotions are running high, and we're all just going to take a breath and try to get through these decisions, as especially because these are like new things and passionate things that are coming in with these aces here. In your recent past, here is the King of Cups. So you've traditionally been very emotionally stable, and not only that, but kings are, they worry about themselves and being the knowledge source of their suit, but also about their constituents. So you've been very in control and knowledgeable about your own emotions, but you kind of understand the emotional paths of the people around you. And this is in the past here. So make sure, if that's the way you've normally been, make sure to apply that to this situation as well. What is on your mind this week is the Judgment card. So yeah, of course, emotions are running high, and if judgments are happening, and this could be internal, external, this could be that you're judging things around you, but also that you're feeling judged or being judged also. Just remember that judgment is about new awareness. It's about new things that come to mind. It's about trying to get to that truth and things that are surfacing. So, and sometimes that does it makes us judge, right? So try to calm that if you can. Again, emotions are running high. This is the time when you need to be counting to 10, walking away for a minute, kind of gathering yourself, maybe deciding to disagree at the moment and coming back to it later when everybody's calm, especially if the emotions are really high about it. So make sure you're at least trying to utilize those kind of tactics, just to kind of level out everybody's emotions, especially if you've been able to do that in the past. You know that you can do that. You're aware of ways to do that, of strategies. All right, what is just ahead of you this week is the World card. So, this is our card of perfect balance and harmony and unity. I mean, wow, what a change from everything that you've been going through. So, this is where I feel like you do reach a place where you can everybody can be happy. Again, everybody might have to make concessions, but everybody gets to a point where there's kind of a happy medium, or everybody gets a piece of something that they want. I just feel like it's maybe arguing about the little details of things, but you have to open up and listen, and see, what are the wants and needs of everybody around you, and work on that so everybody can be in harmony. And that seems like that's what's about to happen. In your advice position is the Nine of Wands, which is about, this is like a wounded warrior. This is looking back on the past to see, maybe, did I have a situation like this in the past? And how did I handle that? Did it work out? Are there tactics that I used then that I should apply now? Or, are there mistakes that I made then that I don't want to make now? So you're kind of, the advice is to stop for a minute, decide, not only what it is that you want or what these decisions are about, but to look, a lot of times the past is a really good indicator of the future. How did things work out in the past if you've been in a situation similar to this? So that's all that's being asked of you, is to take a minute and kind of look back at past situations where you might have had the same type of situation come up for you, and how did that work out? What is beyond your control is that, look, by the end of the week you're going to have a sense of humor about this. This goes on with the World card, and I think this is also about being open-hearted and realizing that, sometimes it is good to just lighten up a little bit. That things aren't always set in stone. And if you don't totally get your way this time, there might be ways that which you can work towards everybody getting exactly everything that they want. If that's not the way it can work out right now, that's just the way the world is sometimes, but you can work towards that, right? So at least keep your humor and your sense of just being emotionally open about it. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid, is the Page of Pentacles. So, is it your secret desire to have a new path when it comes to these pentacles? Or are you trying to avoid that? And that could be the crux of the entire argument, the entire situation here, and the entire decision making thing, is that you have one idea of how to move forward, and it's a new path. And maybe, if this is a partner situation, they're a little freaked out by that. You've never done that before. And, is that going to work? And of course, there can be some fear around trying something new. So, is it your secret desire to try something new? Or are you the one trying to avoid? Maybe your partner's coming at you with a new idea, a new way of doing things, and you're freaking out about it. So, decide there's no right or wrong here. Is it your secret desire, or are you trying to avoid this? You may answer that for yourself and then just understand your answer and why you have answered that way. It's kind of your big exploration of the week. In your outcome position here is the Queen of Pentacles. So I think you gain some knowledge through this. I think, the Queen of Pentacles is about really the understanding of her suit, but also, again, because she's the queen, it's about we're trying to not please everyone, but at least appease everyone so that everyone gets a piece of something they like. So I do feel like this is really about, negotiating so that, again, everybody has a piece of the pie that they want. That's what I kind of feel like is going on with you this week. All right, what's hidden from you, Scorpio? At the bottom of the deck is the Magician. So here's the Magician asking you what you want to manifest, and we're not really asking that yet. It could be that next week you do decide to, bring the Magician in and feel like, what do you want to manifest? I feel like right now we're kind of dealing with maybe just day to day things instead of looking at the really big picture. The Magician is asking you to look at the bigger picture, and you're not really doing that this week. So maybe that's because emotions are running high. You're in this decision making mode. So maybe take a breath, and since that's hidden from you, at least let that be part of the conversation. Is what is the bigger picture here? All right, so let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. I can hear more thunder and rain coming in from outside. It's just been so stormy this week. All right, final message here for you, Scorpio, as you work through this issue. All things in moderation. And that's what I'm saying about, you might not get the whole piece of the pie that you want, but everybody gets a little piece, right? So think about that. That is really the big feeling that was coming through as I'm reading this reading today. What do you need to do in the way of self-care this week, Scorpio? How does Scorpio need to take care of themselves this week? All right, and the card that you get is the card that says surrender. I love the art on this. Stop trying to control life. It gets in the way of divine intervention. Well, isn't that true? Sometimes there's just a way a thing needs to be. And if we're trying to just have the tightest reins on everything, it's really hard. So emotions are running high. I do feel like, again, this is about negotiating about this week. It's do you get to the end of it? Maybe. I feel like it's we've got good things happening towards the end. I feel like maybe the emotions are running high, and that does tend to lighten up through the week. But remember, look at the big picture. That's the thing that's kind of missing this week, is maybe this is about the minutia of things when you do need to step back and just say, okay, what is the big picture? So think about that, Scorpio. And I do wish you the best of luck with this. I hope there's some way that this reading can be of help to you in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if something resonated, or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you as well. Also, Scorpio, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is really nice of you. So thank you in advance for doing that. And good luck with this. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.